Wreck 'em. I had the opportunity to speak to the Texas Tech football seniors at their senior retreat, and I want to thank Coach Joey McGuire and my guy Quentin Jordan so much for the opportunity. This was the first time I had talked to a group of players since 2020. Now, of course, I communicated with players since then, but giving a educational speech to impart wisdom or help someone's life or decisions or develop players. This is the first time I've done it since 2020. So I was so thankful to Coach McGuire, my guy Quentin Jordan, and the Texas Tech football staff and program for having me speak to their team. Wreck 'em. Hello, hello, hello. My name is Ed Jones II, and I am the founder of the Beyond the Field program, where we make impactful player development professionals and programs. And I'm fortunate to be the host of this podcast that you're tuning into, the Player Development Pod. Now, I want to talk about my time talking to the Texas Tech football seniors at their senior retreat. It was an incredible experience. And first of all, the young men that were there, I think it was 18 of the young men there, incredible young men, locked in. I had the opportunity to talk behind Will Baggett, Bag Talk. That right there was an honor of itself. Like, man, following up Will Baggett is a man. Incredible at what he does. Y'all go check out Monetize Your Message. But the young men at Texas Tech were locked in. They knew that this was something to help them, and you could tell they appreciated it. Now, my topic of choice was choices versus mistakes. I didn't do that on purpose. That's actually pretty cool. My presentation to the young men was choices versus mistakes. This to me was an incredible message, and it is something that I've learned recently due to some of the actions that athletes have made that have made the news. Some I don't agree with, but some that they can learn from. And so I was listening to a podcast and someone was talking about one athlete who made a choice, and they were saying that's not a mistake. That is a choice. That person made a choice. And I was like, you know what? Let me dive deeper into this. Let me see the difference between choices and mistakes. And so I came up with this full presentation for them to talk to them about it and just encourage them that there is a huge difference between a choice and a mistake. A choice is a deliberate act. A mistake happens. It is not in the case deliberate. So you all watching this, let's say someone has a name and you know what? I mess up your name. Hey, my mistake. Now, if I don't acknowledge you at all, that is my choice. Y'all kind of get that? But anyway, and during this presentation, I just wanted to encourage the young men that great choices can be made. So we went through athletes that make good choices. Of course, we talked about athletes that make bad choices. And then we talked about how you can protect your brand based off the choices that you make. We also talked about, honestly, how to, they're young. I've done stuff when I was young that I've had to learn from or recover. Once again, like I said earlier, some of these athletes have things that they can learn from. We talked about the choices you can make to repair your brand or whatever it may be. But it was a great talk, and I truly enjoyed being in front of the young men of the Texas Tech football program. That's my passion. I'm passionate about teaching. I'm passionate about helping people. And I'm just so thankful that I had that opportunity. And it was just good. It was good. I was really excited. And I'm so thankful. And this podcast isn't a lot. I just wanted to talk about an experience I haven't had in 3 years. My first time talking to a college football program. Now, here are some tips for you all that may want to talk to college football programs, or maybe you're a speaker. I'm not a professional speaker, so here are some tips for me. Number one, make sure that what you're talking about is engaging. You want to make sure you're engaging the players. And one way I do it is storytelling. As you all know, I like telling stories. I like talking. Storytelling is a great way to engage people because you're able to capture people in a story. People like hearing stories. We all do. That's why we still go and watch movies. That's why we read books. That's why, some of us look at reels, different things on social media. We like stories. We like these hooks. We like these scenarios that get us there. So make sure you're engaged and create story. One thing I learned from Will Baggett is past engagement is enrichment, leaving them something that enriches their life. So that can be in that first part. But yeah, I learned that from Will Baggett watching him live. Number 2 is to be brief. Just get it over with. Say what you need to say. The big words, in my experience, speaking to student athletes at that level and even bringing speakers in, those big words, they ain't trying to hear that. Get straight to the point. What is your point? Make it happen. Number 3, get them up. Get them up. You got to get the blood flowing. And so what we did is we did an index card deal where they shared some thoughts and some values that they have with their teammates, but it got them moving around a room. And I learned this from my time in Houston, learned this from Coach Major Applewhite. He said it was an exercise he saw Coach Dick Tomey do. You make the player talk about the other player's values. So what I mean by that is if me and you are holding a card and I tell you what my values are, the coach would call on you to tell everybody what my values are. He wouldn't say, hey, Ed, tell them what your values are. He would say, hey, you tell everybody what Ed's values are. So that's another thing. And those are small tips. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a professional speaker. There's a lot of people who have greater tips than that. Will Baggett, Dr. Darren K. Roberts, they have great tips. Shout out to them. There's tips you can find online, but those are tips for those who are speaking to players. And that's what I use for my presentation. And hopefully it landed home for the Texas Tech football team. So once again, it was a great experience. My first time speaking to a team since 2020. And I'm just, once again, so grateful to the Texas Tech football team. So wreck them and check out these player development videos here to find more resources about player development. And you know the saying, you know it by now. Go out and create generational impact. Don't wait. Create that generational impact today.